So what the heck are we doing here, Lanny? At about 11 o'clock at night? Well, I've been noticing a lot of people in first aid situations with people or even chickens in general recommend using flour as a way to stop blood. Not only is this kind of dangerous due to contamination, but it just doesn't even work. And that's due to the nature of flour. Flour in itself is hydrophobic, meaning that it's afraid of water, essentially, and the particles in it don't bind with water very easily. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of whisking, for example, or a lot of stirring, just to be able to get flour to mix with water. That's why a lot of the times we tend to use binding proteins like egg or milk when we bake. It's in order to mix the flour properly. Is a big part of the reason. So yeah, I've devised. Should have done that. But yeah. So not only does the flour not work, typically in the blood clotting to coagulate the blood, to desiccate it, it can also lead to cross-contamination due to the fact that flour is a raw food product, and as such it should be cooked before using, especially in that kind of scenario. But yeah, it's pretty obvious that flour doesn't like water if you start to kind of think about it. That's why a lot of the time you'll get lumpy cakes or lumpy gravy, and that's because there's hunks of flour stuck inside of there that have balled up and protected itself against that moisture because there wasn't enough energy put into this mixture to make it a solution, right? So it's ended up being a harsh mixture. So I got here half a tablespoon of salt, which is a known desiccant, and I also have half a tablespoon of, or teaspoon, whatever that is, of flour. I also have my syringe here, and we're going to take equal amounts of water and place it on both of these and show their reaction. Basically how much water they absorb with very little energy. Now I'm not even saying that you should salt a wound, so I'm going to say that right away here. Salt can damage a wound as it is very, very aggressive. The best thing you can use to clean a cut that you have readily available is clean water. That's like the best part about living in a first world nation, is you have access to clean water all the time. Just use that. That's the best thing you can do for a cut or a bruise or a scrape, anything. Just clean running water, best thing for it. So we're gonna fill up my syringe here. It goes to 3 milliliters. And we're going to give 1 milliliter to each. And that should hopefully show that the flour just doesn't even work for what people are using it for anyways. Alright. Alright, so I brought it in for a better angle here. And so we're just going to place one right on there. And as you can see that, it is one with the water, essentially already. And we're going to do the same thing over here. And you can see the water beating on top. It's not even becoming one with it at all. You can see the water is just on top of it, not doing a thing. It's being afraid of the water. It's being hydrophobic. Whereas you can see it is pretty well all in the salt. The salt is running off the plate now. Whereas if I do the same thing with the flour, it fell off as a mostly dry clump. So as you can see, it just does not even work. Let's use even less. So a half of a half with the same amount of water. Essentially, it's still about 1, yep. And even then you can just see it running right off, not doing anything. Like a small layers form, but nothing spectacular. Let's see how much more. So we basically put in 2 syringes, and even then you can still see that it's still quite the mixture. It's barely mixed together at all. And if you move it around, it's still quite dry underneath. So this just shows you that even if you do put it on blood, it is not going to dehydrate the blood like you think it is. It's just going to get pushed away. And any action that is happening is just the blood actually reacting the way it's supposed to. Right, and an even more dramatic way to show it is and you can just see how the flour sits on top. It takes quite a bit of force to get this flour into that water. And just simple blood flow isn't enough to actually disturb. It takes quite a bit of mechanical energy, and even then it's still going to be quite clumpy and take quite a while. Like, this is a lot of energy relative to no energy. See, and there's still floaties in there after all that. So yeah, as you could see, the flour just, it does not work very well at all. So please just stop. Because even most flour is contaminated. About 2% of all flour is thought to be contaminated. And that makes a lot of sense when you think about how flour is made and processed. Even just the act of combining alone introduces a lot of potential contaminants. And depending on the type, or depending on how much moisture is in the air, the amount of hemotoxins in the air could be very high, and those could even infect you. So it's just best to stick with what we got in the future now here. And the best thing to use is clean water and bandages. So yeah, consider donating to our Patreon. Oof, yes, I decided to start one. It's been a pretty rough year, and I can't afford the things that I need to make the channel a lot better, like maybe a new tripod, some slides from the microscope, some capacitors and some transistors, and some really cool stuff that I think you'd all really enjoy. That would help our channel out quite a bit and help me teach everybody more. So yeah, even $1 can go a long way to those things, really, honestly. So yeah, because yeah, that would, even just having some slides would help a lot with this next project we're going to be doing right now. And that is, why do we need apple cider vinegar when you're fermenting? And this ties in a lot with this, and it's because of contaminants. So that video is going to take a little longer to shoot, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't done that already, and so you get that video. And click the little stupid bell that YouTube invented and makes everybody click now to make another arbitrary thing for YouTube people to have to say in some weird attempt, in some weird social experiment to see how well we coordinate and talk. I'm pretty sure what that's all about. But yeah. See? Yeah.